Hello, my musties. It is I, Malik Windu, and I'm here to talk to you about The Skeleton Crew, Episode 1. This could be a real adventure. Yes, I just watched the episode on Disney Plus, and I am so far sold on this show. I'm very excited to see what the Skeleton Crew of Wim and Fern and KB and Neil get themselves caught up in. And the intro with the pirates at the beginning was actually very, very interesting. I liked seeing the firefight, classic cinematography from episode 4 when the rebels were defending the Corvette from Darth Vader's crew as they tried to, or they did invade their crew from episode 4, A New Hope, as they tried to sneak away the Death Star plans to the Rebel Alliance. And so you kind of got that same vibe at the beginning of the episode, so I really thought that was a really great ode without feeling like a copy, so that was awesome. And then the pirate crew, as pirate crews do, turns on their captain because they obviously want more credits, right? And so then we go down to the planet Aten, I think it's called, Aten, and we see like a cozy suburban type of neighborhood community, and a lot of cool things to see there. So you see like the moving doors, like the house, like what would a Star Wars home look like in like a post Return of the Jedi kind of like view perspective. So that was actually really cool to see as well. So as the day unfolds, we get to learn a little bit more about Wim, who seems to be kind of like our main character of the Skeleton Crew. I think him and Fern are going to be like the main two characters, the two main children. And so Wim is greeted by his father, who kind of tells him in a rush kind of manner, hey, I'm going to be late. I got my review. I have some important things to do at work. And it seems like it's just Wim and his father. His mother, Wim's mother, does not seem to be around. It looks like she might have died earlier before the story began. And so Wim gets like some credits for lunch, and then he goes and meets his best friend Neil. They have like a play lightsaber battle fight, and they get onto the transport to take him to school, so like the school bus. And there's all these like little intricacies in the world that kind of remind you of a day in the life of a child going to school here in America. So like getting on the bus, bothering the bus driver who happens to be a robot, like kids going on and like sticking gum, looks like, I guess their version of gum, onto the back of the robot's head, so the robot doesn't see who put the gum on them. That was actually really cool, really neat. Just seeing children on speeder bikes rushing through a city feels very unsafe, but it's really cool, and it adds to this element of kind of like that 80s Spielberg kind of Americana kind of feel, sci-fi vibe. So you're definitely getting vibes like, E.T., then obviously in modern times like Stranger Things, kids on bikes of some kind, trying to like live their lives, explore, find adventure, get into a little bit of trouble. They're not trying to hurt anybody, but they're just trying to have fun. And I thought that ode to that level of like being a child was really transparent in this episode, and it seems to be a core kind of aesthetic or vibe of this entire show. So that was actually really cool. So then once the students are in school, we see that they get a visit from the undersecretary. I believe her name is Kara, but I'll double check that. And so they get quizzed about like what they want to be when they grow up. And there seems to be this like big focus on, we're all a part of the work as she called it. And I actually kind of like that, a future where people have like set career paths. Obviously, being in America, we have a very individualistic mindset, an individualistic view. We believe in freedom of choice to go and choose your career path, to choose the route that you want to do in life as far as work is concerned. But this is actually something interesting that I could see in the future happening, where you use testing to kind of help people decide where they're going to be best placed. But there definitely seemed to be on this planet at Aten a focus on the work, and that everyone can contribute to the work. And the greater work of the New Republic was also mentioned as well. I thought that was kind of cool, interesting. Some people might have a philosophical disagreement to it. Some people might think it might be too socialist. or too communist or something like that. But I thought it was interesting in a, again, post Return of the Jedi, New Republic era. What does the daily life look like for people? What opportunities do they have for careers in Star Wars? Is it just, smugglers running around amok, being a pirate, trying to evade the law, or can you actually be a contributing member of society, right? That was pretty cool. We got a glimpse of that in Andor, heavy glimpses of that in Ahsoka as well. So it's kind of nice to see more of this kind of world building being done in the shows, the Skeleton Crew. So that was really cool. So the students find out that the career assessment is tomorrow, and then Neil goes on and on with Wim, like, how can you not be ready for this? How can you not be studying for this? And then Wim, actually goes to study, but I guess studies too much or stays up too late, looking at the Jedi adventure stories, and then falls asleep, oversleeps, and doesn't get to his transport in time, and then tries to take an alternate route with his speeder bike, and then gets lost in the woods, and then finds something that he thinks is the opening to a Jedi temple. As we find out in the episode, it is not a Jedi temple, but it is the port opening to a spaceship. So anyways, Wim obviously doesn't go home, or he does and goes out to find more of this, what he thinks is a Jedi temple. He grabs Neil, and then they head down there. They find that they're not the only ones interested in this. Fern listened in on his conversation with his dad and brought her friend KB, who wears like an eye enhancement. I would like to see like a view of what she's seeing. I feel like it's kind of like an AR based technology, because it seems like she can see with her two eyes. So I don't think it's like really an like visual enhancement for her, but maybe it is. I don't know, kind of cool. And so, the four of them work together to open up the hatch, and they stumble into the spaceship and then kind of start it back up. Really cool effects, really good visuals. Wim's father sees them in the spaceship, and they actually go into space and then immediately go to hyperspace, which was like crazy to think about. If I was a father of a child in this era, to see your kid go off into a spaceship and you don't know who's running the spaceship, so now you think your kids got kidnapped, and then they go into hyperspace and you don't know where they are. Like, there's not like, oh, my kid's on another continent. My kid's like in space, millions of miles away in a totally different star system. That is scary. So I'm very interested to see how like the consequences of Wim and Fern and KB and Neil's actions are going to play out, because Neil's parents seem to be like very involved in his life, so they're going to be upset. Fern's parents are going to be upset, like his mom, because she's the undersecretary, so it's going to look really bad on her. And Wim's dad's going to be really pissed off. So it'll be very interesting to see how the consequences of their actions from that day are going to play out in their society, and what that will mean for their futures going forward. But for now, I don't know where they're going to go, if they're going to be safe or not. But I'm really in for this adventure. Skeleton Crew looks amazing. The visuals, the aesthetics, the cinematography. Obviously, the acting, like, I don't expect much from child actors at this stage in their life. I do think, there are a couple standout performances. I think KB really, involves herself in the role very well. I think, the actor playing Neil doing a great job. Obviously, all the visual effects surrounding that character. I think, Fern and Wim, definitely has some more work to do, but I really enjoyed Wim's whimsy and childlike behavior. It really reminded me of how I acted as a kid. Daydreaming of being a great warrior and helping people is exactly what a kid, that I can at least understand would want to be when they're that age. You hear about the tales of the Jedi and Luke Skywalker, and you want to be one of those cool warriors. So that seems really, really, really amazing. I don't know what the rest of the episodes are like, but as far as episode 1 is concerned, you get a thumbs up from me, Disney and Lucasfilm. Keep up the good work, and then we'll see what happens. Hopefully we'll see Jude Law's character in the next episode and find out more about this pirate crew that they introduced at the beginning.